Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano has vowed to investigate alleged illegal deductions of gratuities of pensioners under the administration of former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. The governor stated this while flagging off the second phase of the payment of gratuities and death benefits amounting to 5 billion naira to about 4,000 retirees in the state on Saturday. Governor Yusuf said his administration had no records or documents indicating such deducted monies were returned to the government's coffers by the previous government. He, however, pointed out that the state government, therefore, could not pay such monies to the retirees as there are no documents to support the payments. So, there's a branch of the battle raging between Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State and his predecessor, Abdullahi Ganduje. And this is in the line of pensions and gratuities. It has always been a running battle between pensioners and their employers over the years. And we have been getting closer to a better platform and solution that could favor both the pensioners and their employers. Before we delve into the Kano State issue per se, what is the reasons, or what could you pinpoint, what can you put a finger on that is the reason why pensioners keep suffering in this country, both in the states, both in the federal, concerning receiving their due when it is time?
You will say is one, insincerity on the part of the government, lack of proper data capturing portal, lack of employment processes, due process, as we know, obvious equity to say. Most times, these jobs, opportunities spring up, and they are not advertised. They don't go on merit. They don't go on the normal process of recruiting people into the civil service or any office that exists a vacancy. Rather, we go through, IM, as we say it in Nigeria, who knows who is coming with a recommended letter, and who is coming with a signed, what do you call it, office card at the back indicating who is sending who. That's the problem. Until we grow past that and make employment on merit, according to what you read, your field of specification. I cannot sit here today to analyze if I'm not a good student of philosophy. And as a philosopher, if you have gone to school, you are 100 tenths in one if you really understand what philosophy is, because all branches of studies, we are offshoots of philosophy. So if you are a good philosophy student, you can, perform, if not optimally, but 50% of any task given to you. Then those who have gone to school and majored in specific fields cannot, equate themselves on the same level with me, because they did not touch all the branches of human life in studies. And then they can perform as undergraduates under their own level. Then somebody who has gotten to master's level can perform better in that particular area he has mastered. That's why they call it masters. Then when you now go to, take another leap and become a doctorate degree in that particular field, you have an edge. And when you are now a professor on that field, you have an edge. Those ones are specifications. Then you now take it that somebody will be an engineer. You will now take him into another field. Even we see it happen in our political appointments. It can be seen. all over, putting square pegs in round holes. And that is why they become a clog in the wheel of the progress of that particular. Somebody cannot read accountancy. And when you're asking for people to come and work in the treasury of the particular ministry, you're employing somebody that read engineering. It can give you the output that you want. So that is the problem. Problem is, one, we don't have database. We don't advertise vacancies and employ people on merit. We employ on man, no man. And if you are being employed on man, no man, how is your employment being documented? Yeah. Believe you me, many people that are working today in our different government parastatals and ministries are not working with an appointment letter from the government. But they are being paid. And you now take it to another leg of it is where you have ghost workers. That is why government cannot pay pensioners. That is why government cannot be able to capture who are the real civil servants. They are always those people who are head of service and who are commissioners of some ministries try to overbloat their budget because of what they will gain. Okay. At the end of the day, we find out that the discrepancies is what is confusing the government. I'm not laying it on the doorstep of the governor, but the discrepancies emanating from head of departments, head of service, the commissioner, when he wants to present his budget to the house, we overbloat it. Because at the end of the day, they will make... So the real people that has now retired, don't be surprised that most of those people who are crying that they are retirees, their names are not being captured. We are those people who are employed from the back door. The government don't know about them. And when you have retired, how will you start, putting... Some of them are also given positions that they didn't merit. So when you now ask them to subject themselves to screening, you find out that after all, we are here in Nigeria when El-Rufai, as a governor of Kaduna State, a primary school head teacher could not answer a simple question. And it happened in Edo State too. So this is what we see. People being employed on political affinity, payback time, and because you worked for the governor, you have had in River State now that some of the local government chairmen have started employing overbloated SAs to the tune of 600. Exactly. Is that the job opportunity we are looking for in Nigeria? No. We want something that will endure. We don't want something, okay, as if their tenure lasts for 3 months, per se, now 6 months, those people will go back to the job market. That is what we are saying. So that is the problem, my brother. Okay,
but in the case of Kano State now, we are seeing that there are alleged illegal deductions of gratuities of pensioners under the administration of former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. Do you think Governor Abba Yusuf will be able to rectify and also penalize those involved in this matter down to the final conclusion of this?
It will be a long ride for us to see the end of this, because Abba Yusuf and Sheikh Husani of Kaduna State has already made themselves open, and handed themselves over to the Nigerian political space to be scrutinized, not criticized now. We are looking if they have the political will of going through this whole hog. It will be a long day because it will involve litigations and all whatnot. They will be blackmailed. They will be coerced into withdrawing this, thinking what you will hear now is a political witch hunt. Because you know that in Nigeria, we don't have the tradition of questioning the past administrations. And that has been our bane. That has been our bane in Nigeria. And a lot of monies go down the drain. That is why a governor will assume office and tell that he is inheriting an empty treasury. But that empty treasury, he will not, and he will now tell you the liabilities that he has inherited without, going back to know what brought about the liabilities. But he will now be dancing to the camera because he has gotten to the office of a governor. He starts borrowing. But in the case of Kano State and Kaduna, let us continue to pray in the west of Nigerians that they get to the end of it.
Okay.
But when it comes to pensions and gratuity, it is also, you also talk about how civil servants are owed. You can owe somebody for 3 months, as if you are working for somebody that is doing you a favor. But the Holy Book says that a worker deserves his wage. And if you are owing a worker, you are more than an infidel. That is what this God, everybody is calling in Nigeria, has said in the good books, both in the Quran and in the Bible. So for you to owe somebody who has put in 35, 36 years of his youthful age to work for the greatness of the state and the nation, and you're owing the person, you are not more than the infidel.
Yeah.
And these deductions that are made from with the knowledge of the government. You know, the other day I told you that where Nigerians think that capital flight exists is not even where it exists. These are the places where the governors enrich themselves, where the commissioners enrich themselves. Why will people be dragging and dying to be appointed head of service? Why will somebody be dragging? Because I have defined it that if Nigerian politicians and those who hold public offices, you know, put the effort they put in getting those for them to get to those offices, 50% of it to delivering service, we will not be where we are today. Okay. But you see them dragging, I want to serve you, I want to be HOD, I want to be this one, I want to... But when they get there, it's for selfish interest.
Yeah.
They're not going there for them to serve the people and do the needful, but for selfish, because of the monies accruing from such office. So, what happened to Minor? You were here. When Minor stole 23-point-something billion, he came out and he was asked to pay a paltry sum, plea bargain. This is in Nigeria. So why will it be surprising Governor Abba Yusuf that he's seen something like this in Kano State? So I expect him to continue with the investigation, devoid of witch hunting or political enmity, and go to the meat of the matter. Start from the HODs, head of departments, the directors. Let him not go directly to the governor, to the former governor, because he will not get his case right. Let him start from the clerk who moves the files, the confidential secretaries. You know, my parents were civil servants, though they are retired now, but I heard of all those names. There are those who know the office secret, those who help them in power to steal money. Exactly. They should start from the clerk, clerical clerk, the people at the Board of Treasury, the people as HOD, directors, head of civil service, get all their files and antecedents while they're in office, even if they're retired now, and launch them, constitute a committee and start probing them. From there, you will get to what you're looking at. But if you are starting from the head, I believe you me, it will be a goose chase. At the end of the day, it will be wrapped around politics, and he's trying to witch hunt his political enemy.
Okay, sir. Well put out there, sir. Also, we move on to the debacle between the Labour Union and the Governors Forum. Organized labor yesterday kicked against a fresh proposal by some state governors in their advocacy for autonomy to set their own minimum wages for workers. In their recent declaration, the Southern Governors Forum called for the consideration of each state to pay the new minimum wage they can afford. The governors' advocacy also came a few days after the Federal Executive Council stepped down a report to allow President Bola Tinubu to make more consultations before sending the new national minimum wage bill to the National Assembly. However, responding to the governors yesterday, the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress criticized their stance while labeling it as dictatorial and contrary to the foundational principles of a national minimum wage. The NLC's head of Information and Public Affairs, Comrade Benson Upa, in a statement sent to press yesterday, emphasized that such a wage is intended as a national baseline to ensure a minimum standard of living for all workers. He stated that the national minimum wage is a collective agreement designed to prevent workers from being paid below a certain threshold, which is crucial for maintaining their welfare and the stability of the national economy. Sir, the same stance that the NLC has been taking, even despite the fact that some governors are adamant in taking the 62,000 naira negotiated by the presidency, not yet accepted though
by Labour.
By Labour, and some governors are already crying wolf that we cannot even pay that 62,000 naira. That each governor should pay according to his capacity, according to his financial capability. And the Labour is saying that it is supposed to be a national baseline, supposed to be cut across all states, including the federal government. Do you take this stance to be a true worthy stance of the true facts of situation on ground, or there are some other leeways that could be given?
I want to say that the governors are right. You know, I've posited it here that it is better the governors are allowed to negotiate what they can pay based on, one, our economic resources, IGR, the federal allocations are not the same, and the size of the states are not the same because of the population, because of geographical locations. We have differences. Nigeria is a country in diversity, you know. So just you take some states that have good, but people are looking at the crude oil as if it's the, go and check what, and the ranking of Nigeria as a good producing state or nation, and see our ranking in the world and what we produce, but it's not captured as what will be shared at the FEC. But those states are calling in Chinese and Indians to come and mine it. Nobody's talking about it. There are so many things in Nigeria that are going south. So many things in Nigeria. If you come to this, that this minimum wage, are you telling me that a state like Niger, a state like Nasarawa, a state like Kogi, that have bitumen, deposit of uranium, iron ore and steel cannot pay a 500,000 minimum wage if they harness their resources very well? If the federal government allows states to take care of their natural resources, the governors should use this and also call for the rejig of the constitution to allow states to pay royalty to the, if the federal government want them to key in to the minimum wage they are proposing, they should also ask the federal government to allow them to take care of their resources and pay royalty according to their percentages. Okay,
so you're proposing there has to be effective federalism in...
A true federalism in Nigeria.
Even in the economy.
Even in the economy. And that is what brings about true federalism. True federalism is not by enshrining it in the constitution, by writing it in black and white. No. True federalism has to trickle down to the security architecture, to harnessing what God has used in blessing you. You find out that even as the governors has proposed, in most developed countries, states, somebody, let's take for example, if the truth be told, somebody in Port Harcourt, in River State, and somebody in Lagos State, Kano, all these mega cities in Nigeria, can you equate them, their expenditure per month, to somebody that is in Ondo State, Ekiti State, Delta State, Bayelsa, and all that? No, you can't. So if you look at it, the federal government should not be the people who are making a decision and lording it over the states that they will pay. So, but what I want the federal government to do is, if they want to, lord it over the states, going by what we have seen happen to minimum wage that have been from 7,000 You know, I read when it was 7,000. I read when it was 18,000. And states did not pay. It is not binding on them. Go through the legislature. Abba said he will approve anything you bring. He will legislate on it. They have legislated. The court shut their recess, and they came to merge the supplementary budget of 2023 to run concurrently with that of 2024. I'm coming there.
Yeah, the block of governors forum and the block of organized private sector also are players with the presidency in negotiating this.
Of course, so because so that they can pay. No, what I'm saying is that if the president, look at my choice of word, if he wants to lord it over, as has been the case, because federal government has decided, remember that we have 3 categories of workers, 4. We have those in the private sector, we have those in the local government, we have those in the state and federal. You understand?
Exactly.
So these are the categories of the people that employ labor in Nigeria that we have. So if the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu should do something different, it is not now they have approved the purchase of the jet for the presidency. Let him, you know, sponsor a bill through the National Assembly and capture this national minimum wage issue. Let it be enshrined, and he was sent to it. It becomes a law. And once it becomes a law, it's binding. No governor will rescue himself from implementing it. If you do, you have fallen short of the constitution, and you can be taken to court. But if he goes around playing to the gallery as other government has come and played, and is not binding on the governors, because what is bringing this issue now is that it is not binding on the governors to pay. Some people, you heard it now. Last month, a state government were still agreeing to pay 18,000. To tell you that they were still paying on 7,000 minimum wage. He didn't even come to 30,000. He said, now I want to pay 18,000. Look at how many years it has taken when we have left 7,000. That a primary school teacher is going home with 12,000, 7,000. So this is it. So if we want to do things right as a nation, if you don't want to go by, you know, allowing the states to make their decisions on what they can pay, which is what I advocate, so that the states will not take into account what the private sectors in their states are making, because a company that is in Lagos is not going to pay what a hospitality industry that is in Bayelsa State is paying. It's not going to pay what a hospitality industry in Ondo State is paying because of the market. This market we are talking about is the patronage, the people, the population. And that is what Nigerian government price themselves on. The market is because of our population. And that is where they negotiate with all these governments and foreign investors. So if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is listening to me or his handlers, they should go through the enactment of a law binding on the payment of minimum wage. If we are going to go paying by hour or by week, then we now enact it and say this is the basic you must pay.
Okay.
And we now categorize it based on the SMEs, on the multinational companies and all that, and capture it and make it a national document. Once we make it, we will not be going back and forth in trying to, you know, say the governor should pay this, the governor want to pay on their own, which I go with. So that once they come back, they know what their IGR is, they know what their monthly income is, because you talk about security, infrastructure, you talk about all those things. And now when the governor negotiates, they will now know how they can either downsize or booster their workforce so that they can be able to pay.
Oh, good submission there, sir. Yeah, moving on to concerning the health of the president, the Vice President Kashim Shettima on Friday night took a swipe at Nigerians who took to the social media to mock President Bola Tinubu over his misstep during the Democracy Day celebrations on June 12th. Recall that President Tinubu missed his step as he climbed onto the back of a military parade vehicle at the Eagle Square during the commemoration. President Tinubu tripped and fell as he attempted to climb onto the military Land Rover stationed to convey him to inspect a guard of honor mounted by officers and soldiers of the Guards Brigade led by their commander. The incident sparked a media frenzy with many Nigerians making a caricature of Tinubu, just as others made humorous portrayal of the incident and ridiculed the president, expressing dismay over the negative portrayal of President Tinubu during his remarks at the PEBEC town hall meeting held at the banquet hall presidential villa. Shettima veered off his prepared speech and berated those who made a caricature of the president. Yes, sir. I do know that in a democracy, there's freedom of thought, there's freedom of expression. Be that as it may, where is the line not to be crossed when it comes to making a caricature or making mockery of the person or the personality of the #1 citizen of the nation, as it pertains President Tinubu's unfortunate misstep?
Sleep. Well, my brother, is not you and I that is making jest of the president. A sane person, a matured mind, not a matured adult, a matured mind cannot ridicule a president of a nation. No, like his face, like his antecedents or not, because he's a representation of the nation.
Exactly.
So I want to berate those who are making a caricature of the presidential slip, and also tell them that they shouldn't have been taken by surprise. You were here during the campaigns and all that, how the social media was agog of making all kinds of gesture to the president and all that. I tell Nigerians, see, we are not the owner of life, and we are not the owner of health. We, in as much as hate a government or like it, does not add anything to it. Because you were here when Nigerians were praying. Everybody, Buhari was on the lips of Nigerians. People prayed for Buhari to die. Some pastors even vowed, if I'm not a man of God, Buhari will not come back for second tenure. We are here when Buhari came and went. Buhari came and went. We are here in Nigeria. Nothing happened. Bola Tinubu during elections, Tinubu's health is in question. Tinubu this one. Tinubu went campaign in 36 states and became the president of Nigeria. Have served 1 year in office, and they say waxing. Despite the fact that the presidency and the handlers are the people who are causing this. If the president is ill, let it be in the public domain, because once you come out to serve us, you are no longer a private citizen. If you want to be a private citizen, stay in your house. Nobody will come and question you. But, shrouding all those things in secrecy is what has brought us to where we are today.
If the declaration of assets is still a secret document.
Yes, it's a secret document, but it is also through the
that's one of the quirks of our democracy.
But you can
really
through the Freedom of Information Act request for it.
Yeah, but definitely it has not been always made available.
No, but you can do that on a moral ground, because some people are out there to take you to the cleaners. Why you have to quieten the loud voice is for you to come out straight.
But a misstep can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody. That's not how Nigerians are taking it.
Yes,
that is what I'm trying to look at.
Even President Joe Biden of United States has had several...
You're going to Biden, even the Catholic pontiff. Okay. The Catholic pontiff, because, these things happened overtly, because you don't know when it happens. His aides were there. They were not expecting it.
Yeah.
For them to hold him and all that. And you could see that fall.
One can match his
floating his overfloating cloth. But the president was holding his own. The only thing is that parade van has 3 steps. Probably his leg did not lift from the first one to get to the second one. Now hit on the bottom of that one. when the other one has gone up. And
is that an indication of illness?
No, it is not an indication of illness. But now Nigerians are taking it back to what was trending prior to the elections. That is why he's making the rounds. Because if they have come out, but you can see also the president himself adding fuel to it when he came out and he was jogging. That was unnecessary. Are you trying to prove what? And now where you prove it has come and they have failed. And now the president himself came out and, played down on his health status when he said that being a president of Nigeria, that he's not going to the boxing ring, which is true. It's about your mental stability and your capacity to think fast and and be the one that takes the final decisions. So, but be that as it may, it is these Gen Zs, these jet age people that are social media frenzy, and because of the joblessness in Nigeria, because of the joblessness, idleness, why will you have a data? Most of them don't eat and they buy data just to stay afloat. Let the government, Shetima and Tinubu, turn this caricature into providing jobs. Let me know whether Nigerian youth will leave their place of work. When you are preparing for your news, writing and thinking of what to give to Nigerians, civil news and all that, and you are busy making a presidential jest that is long gone since 29th, more than a month, and is still circulating. I mean, that is to show you how unserious and how idle Nigerian youths are.
Okay.